Missing link. Meanwhile, you're traveling already. Good Erev Shabbos Kodesh.
What's the scoop here?
The scoop. I thought I sent you the link. I was waiting for you.
Listen, listen. I told you, you're making a mistake. You should send the link before, so it's waiting. I won't click on the link until we make connection.
Yeah, but
But
problem is I got to know when you're going to hit the link. We could
no,
always,
no, you don't. I'm saying, listen to me. I'll hit the link only after we WhatsApp to each other
uh,
that we're there. But
okay.
instead of saying, okay, send the link and then having to wait, I'm already by the Citadel. So it's not a
I'm
good. So
telling
as soon as
you, you just have kfitzas derech. Though this is too modest. And let
sorry,
me. I want to start off by saying that this that you got me all so confused here. That it says in Dvarim Chavdalid Pasuk Hey, Ki yikach ish isha chadosha, and it says Hoyeh lebeso shana achas v'simach es ishto asher lokach. That you're supposed to make your wife happy the first year. So the question is, what about the rest of the years? What does it say about the rest of the years? Anyway, the answer is that 49 years ago, today, Ches El, my Rebbetzin and I tied the yes, not the not. And Baruch Hashem, Yerushalayim Yer HaKodesh, and Baruch Hashem, I call her my bride. So everything is a Shana Rishona. So, anyways, I have to be on my best behavior. She's my editor and my chief. Anyway, today is also the yard site is the yard site of the Marashkov and Yosef Yoel Deutsch.
you know the famous part with Reb Shimon Shkop and the Rogatchover.
Let me hear that. Let me hear.
Reb Shimon Shkop and the Rogatchover once met each other, and the Rogatchover told Reb Shimon Shkop, "Los meher and agut achidus, zok tepes." So I think this is the way it goes. Reb Shimon Shkop said to the Rogatchover that he has a chakira. What's the chakira? Chakira is the chalois of kedushin, something which is one time, and it's just when you hareyat mikudeshasli, then there's a chalois of kedushin, and that kedushin remains your entire time that you're together, or is the pshat is a chalois of kedushin kol rega v'rega.
Oh, oh. So
So the Rogatchover said to him, I think it was this way. He said to him, "Hey bazoi, mazel tov, mazel tov."
very good. That
So
reminds
I
me.
so,
That
so that in
reminds.
that case, I want to, and that with that understanding, I want to wish you a mazel tov on your
Mazel.
on your on your
49.
engagement.
Any on our engagement, Baruch Hashem. That reminds me that in terms of this chuliyot, they refer to a newly married couple as a zug chadash. That means if a person gets married at 90, you are called a zug chadash, and that's basically what we want to say over here. It's not
You
kal.
kechadoshim beinecha.
Halavai. Anyway, uh, nothing's kal, and that's why we have to do kuflamid. I'm going to test you today.
That's a good chakiro. What's more difficult? To learn Torah every day as if it would be Chadoshim Beinecha, or to look at your wife every day as it's Chadoshim Beinecha?
You know, it's
Which is more difficult?
What's the answer?
wait, no, 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 no. Tzvi, you reminded me of. Wait. I'm going to answer it. It's the chidah. Actually, on the Simachas Ishto, you reminded me. He says. There's a remez in the pasuk that it says Yia lebeso shona. It says Nucky. Yia Lebeso Shana. Sof Tevos is Yud Ke Vav Ke. So the Chidah says it's a remez. She'ein Ashchina Shora Ela Mitoch Simcha. V'li Hadal remez. He says Nira remez. The Gam HaTorah. It says V'simach. Sheyia Masav L'Shem Shemayim V'yakayim Shvisi Hashem L'negdi Tamid. You are exactly mechaving the Chidah that Simas is Ishto is a remez to Torah. That if you're samech with your Torah, it'll be kechadoshim, and you'll have the Shechina and before you always. Now I want to test you, but you're in a rush there, and I started late. I want you to hear two Shir Amalos. Okay, here we go. Here, and I want you to decide which one you like the best.
Second one.
I don't think so.
סליחה למען תברא קוויתי אדוני קוותה נפשי ולדברו חלתי נפשי לאדוני שומרים לבוקר יחל ישראל אל אדוני כי עם אדוני החסד והרבה עמו פדות והוא יפדה את ישראל מכל עוונותיו.
Okay, that's the Sephardi edition, and you like Moshe Kapusha. Now listen, let's see if a real Ashkenaz.
יעמוד כי ימחו הסליחו למען תבוראי כי ויסי אדוני כבשו נפשי ולדבוראי יכולתי נפשי לאדוני משומרם לבוקר יחל ישראל אל אדוני כי אם אדוני החסד והרבה ימי פדס ויפדס ישראל מכל אדוני יסוף.
Now you already said the second. Kol Beis Yisrael. Kol Beis Yisrael. Anesonim
Batzara uvashivya Haimdim bein bayam uvein bayabosha Amakoim Yerachem Aleim Yotziyim Mitzara
L'revacho
Me'afel Le'yoira Umisiba Le'ola Hashta Ba'agala Uvizman Kori.
So what's your comment? I mean, you obviously gave the thumbs
down.
And
on that note, we wish you a good Erev Shabbos.
Anyway, Hashem Shema B'Koili, Ribbon Shalom, Herzlich mein Gebet, Tiena Znecha Kashuvas, Sein Eigen soll einherren, Lekol Tachanuni, zu dem Kol von mein Gebet. That's the Yiddish today. And
I just want to tell you that the last, I think, 3 days in a row, so Steve has given me a ride up to Har Zion because since it's Chodesh Elul, the Kaisel is packed. This morning, there was no place anywhere. And I went up. I went up.
No Bima?
I don't mean that. I'm talking about parking.
Oh, parking.
I couldn't get a parking place. I went up to the top of Har Zion. There was no place to park. So finally, I parked somewhere that was borderline blocking the traffic.
Oh, yeah.
But I parked there anyway. Anyway, so the reason I'm telling you this is because Baruch Hashem, he told me that his wife is the markers, the markers that for the test she's doing are going in the right direction.
Baruch
And Baruch
Hashem.
Hashem,
Thank you.
the tefillos are helping, and we should all continue, Bezrat Hashem, to continue to be mispalim.
Thank you for that information. We, of course, will continue our tefillos, and we want to wish you, my dear tzaddik, 18 more days.
Wonderful.
18 more days. My Rebbetzin was makbid to tell you, we don't count the time that I'm leaving because it's not fair to the family. We feel terrible about leaving, but we're counting the days to greet you at the Kaisel Maravi.
There's no question that that's the way we look at things. Of course.
Anyway,
we don't want to. It's not easy for parents to leave kids and for kids to leave to see the parents go away.
Another chakira. Very good. Anyway, you have a great Shabbos and thank you.
Wonderful Shabbos.
And we'll miss Hashem.
Where do you daven on Shabbos?
So, Nate's Minyan, I daven at Young Israel Woodmere. And when I was in Hewlett, which is near Trader Joe's, we walked the equivalent of the walk to the Kaisel from where I lived, 1.39 miles. But now that I'm at my son who lives in Woodmere, so it's 0.4 miles. It's Baruch Hashem, hop, skip, and jump. So
hop, skip, and a jump.
Young Israel Woodmere. But there's a place called Chaim V'Shalom where they duchen on Shabbos. That's in Cedarhurst. When it's an interesting place. So, But
you're not davening there.
No, I've davened there for the first 3 weeks when I was in Lawrence with my daughter. So that was 0.8 miles. So I could tell you every step, as you know, every step for me is skar halicha triple. But anyway, not like Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael is the best.
So we have Chai days left. Chai,
Eretz Hashem. Chai. Okay.
Chaim Tovim.
A great Shabbos.
Good, you too.
You take care.
Too.
Okay, so let us, we have a lot to cover. Avram Shimshon Remirashkov, HaKohen, Haya Beno Shel Baal HaToldos Yaakov Yosef, and Ol B'chayei Baal Shem Tov Allah, Reb Avram Shimshon L'Eretz Yisrael, B'shnat 1742 Chazal Beso, Hitpalei Lirot Shekvar Yadu Alehem, Al Ptirat Shel Reb Elazar Abbez in Amsterdam, Shekein Habesht, Gila Lehem Beruach HaKodesh. Anyway, there's a whole Maisa over there. And the Sefer told us Yaakov Yosef, Shenishtamer B'Yerushalayim Nemar, Zeh Sefer, Shechiber Adoni, Vavi, Vahevesi, Leves Atfus, Vasher Mavur Lamata Atalaman, Yagdil Torah, Manschus, Lezakos Larabim, Ani Sholech Zeh Sefer, La'akol Ira Kodesh Yerushalayim. Anyway, Matona. Anyway, said instead of having children that Kilo Zichinu Hashem Bebanim Chaim Laman Yazi Lamaskeret Bati Alachatum. Anyway, Nishar Miazvano Sidra Tfila Fi Nusachari Shekasa Rabbaram Shimshon Be'atzmo. And they have a picture of it over here with beautiful handwriting. Sav Yado Kari Barur Mishtamer B'Matzah Mitzuyan. Okay, so that's it for the Avram Shimshon Mirashkov. There's much more to read, and I'm also going to mention the Yosef Yoel Deitch, Shenolad ב-1790 ונפטר ב-1853, למד אצל יהושע השל בבד, רבה של טרנובל, ב-1830 היה דיין בטרנובל, ב-1842 היה רב במוניסטריף, ב-1841 היה רב בחודרוב, הוא היה מחבר את יד יוסף. היום זה גם כן היורצייט של חסדאי בן שמואל הכהן פרחיה, שנולד ב-1605 ונפטר ב-1677. נולד בסלוניקה, ביוון. הוא שימש אצל החיים שבתאי, the Mechaber from the Torah's Chaim, ושימש שירת רב קהילות איטליה ישן, היה דיין וראש ישיבה. בסלוניקה. ב-1671 היה רב ברוי, היה מחבר תורס חסד. וסוף סוף, last but not least, here we go, אחרון חביב, סלומון בן יוסף קרא, כ"א ר"ה, נולד ב-1804 ונפטר ב-1889, היה אב בית דין בצנעא בתימן 40 שנה, היה חכם באשי ליהדות תימן, מאודו, הוא היה מעודד עליית לארץ ישראל, והיה המייסד של אלה בתמר ב-1881. אוקיי, עד כאן ההרצאתם של היום. לפי המנהג שלנו, ערב שבס, פרשס כי יצא, אנחנו נזכיר את החפץ חיים על התורה. זוכר את אשר עשה השם לעמלק, למרים, זכור, היינו, אם עוסק בדיבורים עם בני אדם, ואולו לשכוח לבטא דיבורים איסורים, אז המצווה לזכור מה שנעשה למרים אודות דיבוריו, ועל ידי זה ימנע מלדבר דברים אסורים. ועל דרך מה שאמרו חז"ל בבעיה, מסכת הבעיה ט"ו, על הפסוק זכור את יום השבת הקדשו, פירוש זכרו מאחר בשר להשכיחו, את אשר עשה, היינו עונש התורה, שמishpato, what happens? You have to, you get isolated in quarantine. Bodad. Chutz l'shalosh machanos. Pa'amim hu muchlat sham la'olam, ad she'yisrape. Sometimes it's not just for 30 days, you could be there forever until you're cured. V'afilu she'ari tamim en yoshvim imo. And no one, he's so isolated, he sits by himself. Because of you, frumim, and his clothing are frayed, v'rosha yeprua, while Avel, the Tumas Chamura Katami Mace, Misha Bola, whole take of Nitma, Mashmir, the Kolsha Hutami, Kadeshi from Shmeno. He's treated as totally Tame, defiled. Hashem, Elokecha, Lemiriam, Hakolafi, Amavayish, Amamisbayish, Shemiriam Haitach, Hashuachas, Bechol Olam. She was most prominent. Why? Shaya Be'er, the Chol Yisrael B'schusa. The people of Israel got their water there through her be'er. She was also famous for saving Moshe. So without her saving her, we wouldn't have Moshe. Yet, she never intended to disparage her brother. Nevertheless, by saying what determined Avak Lashon Hara, she was punished, she got saras. Therefore, that's the lesson, Zachor Sarah. Okay, now we're going to begin. Matchilim et Chelik Rishon, and I apologize for the total mix-up yesterday. I published today's shir, today's text, and yesterday was a tremendous amount of text, and I neglected to publish it. I'm publishing that today. Remember, you will have to refer to today's shir by looking at yesterday's text, and look at yesterday's shir, chazer over with today's text. Anyway, Chelik Rishon, Dim Mitzvah Alva. The Chofetz Chaim starts with the lending money. Bo Yavor Din Mitzvah say the Im Kesef Talva, from the pasuk that you must lend money. V'od inyanim midas chesed, and other matters of loving kindness. Bo Yadalat Sifim, there are 14 paragraphs. Paragraph Aleph. Mitzvah say, and of course there are footnotes. I don't think we'll have enough time to go through the footnotes, so here is the main text. Minatorah, to lend money to the poor, our brothers. Shenemar, as it says in Perek Chaf Beis in Shmos, Pasuk Chaf Daled, Im Kesef Talve Es Ami Es Ani Imach, the Isa b'Milcha, Parshas Mishpatim, Parshas Yud. The whole Im, you would say Im, when, if. He says Torah Rishus, you would think the Im is like maybe you could do it. There are 3 times when the Im means it's an obligation. And there's a footnote for that. This in Kesef Talva is a chiyuv, not just a rishus. U'aya nimash and Amar akasu parsha re'eh in Dvorim tezvav ches. Have taviteno, you shall surely lend him. Derech tzivoy. We see that lending money is a chiyuv, obligation. Mitzvah zu gdol yosem and mitzvah tzedakah. And this is the chiddush, that the mitzvah of milas chasadim is greater than the mitzvah of charity. She'ein ani bosh b'dover kol kach, because the poor person is not embarrassed as much when he gets a chesed. Gam shebezeh tomech yodo matzik yodo. And with not just a handout, but you actually raise him up and make him independent. So you prevent him from bankruptcy. And you also fulfill that which is brought down in Vayikra Chafei Lamed Hey. When you're when you have encounter a poor person and he's about to fall, you're supposed to strengthen him and protect them from financial ruin. Okay. The Hainu Sheyakzibo Achalo Yipol Visorach Librios. Again, footnote Dalit. Mitzvah Gamkein Lilvos La'asher. So this is not only to a poor person lending, it's also to a wealthy person, Lafi Shah. And footnote Hey. The Shah She'ain Hamos Motziloi. In a situation where the rich person is strapped and needs the cash. Gemilas Chesed Noeg Bein La'anim Bein L'Shirim. Gemilas Chesed, so we see it's greater than tzedakah because it's practiced not only to poor people but even wealthy people. Ella, however, there is a priority to give to the poor person before the wealthy person. That's why the poor person is mentioned specifically. The elo, the hodiana akasav, adam yosel. If it didn't mention the priority, the preference to an ani, you might want to do the chesed first to the wealthy person. Why? Because you might anticipate that you'll get something in return. And also your money is more guaranteed to be returned. Paragraph base. The lav dafka halva most hudin. We're not only talking about lending money when it comes to chesed. And paragraph the footnote 4 vav, the mitzvah lahashil lo kelev. You can lend him your vessels. Ushar chafotz of yosibet, lending other items, not just money. Ki hakol midas chesed. This is all acts of loving kindness. Kodesh Baruch Hu chavetz bo. This is what Hashem desires. Kedesiv, as it says in Micha. Perek Zayin Pasuk Yud Ches Ki Chafetz Chesedu. Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to be loving kindness with others. But Chesed Kol Kolanian. When we talk about Chesed, we're talking about all different types of Adam Yachol Heitiv Bezel Chaver. Chesed by definition is when you help, make better. You better your fellow man. Kasher Nevar, as we will explain in Yirtzeh Hashem B'Chel Kshishim and Aksuvim Memari Chazal. In the Sefer Avos Chesed later on. Okay, we said Ela Shalvamos he mitzvah gdola yosemizeh. So we see that lending money is a great mitzvah. Shaliyesh mitzvah the same yuchedes. It has a special mitzvah in Kesef Talva. Va'amru Chazal in Erchin Tezayin Amenah Shemi Shehutzarayin. Person is stingy milhanos. La'acherim doesn't want to give others minachasav from his possessions. Kishemasirim lo. We ask him, could you lend me your pot? And he says, oh, he lies, and he says, I don't have one. Ansho, what's his punishment? The leprosy comes to his house, and he has to take out all his possessions. So he has to take out the pot. So everyone will see that he lied. Paragraph Gimel, what are we talking about? When we're talking about a wealthy person, footnote number Zion, Avol Ba'ani Shaba Lishol Mimeno. When a poor person comes to borrow some vessel, something that is necessary for him You have a greater obligation mitzad din. It's not just a reshus; it's an obligation lahashilo. Pen ein lo ato b'miliknos, but maybe he doesn't have the money to buy the vessel, the pot. V'ayim lekamen b'chelik beis perakov beis she'arachnu bazeh v'hinei v'tzonenu laharich tzas v'inyonei midas chesed. Chofetz Chaim says in this sefer he's going to elaborate on the trait of loving kindness. How you should act, how you should conduct yourself. However, when you're dealing with money, also an act of loving kindness. It's more prevalent. As we noted, it is a special obligation. That's why the Chofetz Chaim will deal with it at length. And of course, from this, we will learn all the other matters of chesed. Okay. We will, on Yud Elul, which is on Sunday, we will continue with the main text. Now, until we get to the bottom, till we're edited out by Zoom, I'm going to start with Mitzvah Sasem in the Torah Livos Laniach Achenu. The footnote, the Siv HaChesed says, Min HaTorah, the Choshen Mishpat Simin Tzadik Zayin, Sif Aleph, Ayin Sham, Zel Lashon HaRambam, B'Sefer Mitzvahs Kuf Tzadik Zayin, Sivanu, L'Halvos La'ani L'Hakilo Me'enyov, and some people say Me'enyono, Me'anino, from his poverty, or L'Hachiv Lo, and to make him expand his sustenance. And as we mentioned before, remember, the Netziv HaChesed is bringing the Makoros. So now he's bringing the Makor from the Choshen Mishpat and the Rambam, that this is a greater mitzvah than tzedakah. Person's embarrassed when he gets a handout, and so that's all enough. He's very embarrassed. He doesn't want people to know that he's asking for a handout. And we see that this Gemilas Chesed is a higher level. In Kesef Tavel Es Ami Lashon HaMechilta, the Mechilta says in Mishpatim Parshas Yotes, call in, and we mentioned that everything in the Torah where it says min is reshus chutz mishlosha, 3 places. So we see the makor for that is in the Mechilta. Ze'achad mehem v'amru im kesef chova ato omer chova o eno el reshus talmud lomer taviteno. We see that it says that you surely should lend him chova v'lo reshus, that it's an obligation. Ad kan lashono v'chein smag mitzvahs gadol esen v'achinuch kol monei ha-mitzvahs monazel mitzvahs segemura. And those who count the mitzvahs consider this as a mitzvah, not just reshus. Footnote Beis, ushloshim hen chova v'zeh echad mehem. Zeh lashon im kasu b'zeh ayin b'sma b'simin hanal sim katan alchad shim yasheno dochak, talking about a person who's in need, dire need. Ulinios dati nira b'pshitos lashon im hu kasu b'shvil sefer. The reason it says im is because at the end, the high cross, as it says in Shmos, Chaf Beis, Chaf Dalet, the Messiah Bo, Lo Tia Lo Kenosha, the Hainu, Shalo, Tetchagenu should not oppress him. If you know that he doesn't have the money to repay you, what you lent him, when we're talking about money, that it's money is there to be expended, to be used. He used the money. He doesn't have money to repay him. When he's talking about bartering or lending him some, when you act of loving kindness, you're lending him a pot, a kli, a vessel. It's not, you don't have to oppress him to get the money back, because because he has the vessel. You just ask him to return it. The Bavadai Yesh Ba'ayin Etzlo. You can. It's over there. V'ata medakdek ma'od lashon hakasav im kesef talva es ami es ani imcha lo tia lo kenosha. Masha ein kain. Okay, we just got the warning. Okay. Masha ein kain ke'shtalvu is a chavis kli, as we mentioned, when you lend him an article. At the muta ledocha lazer, it doesn't, you can't force him to have to repay him. V'atal yesh lefarish v'pshitas dekoi al. Ami hakasuv achakach v'hachi komar in kesef talva es ami lo tia lo kenosha masha enkein leknani, also to exclude a Gentile kamosha kos b'torah. All the others are short little footnotes, and I think we're going to pick up the footnote Zion, and that's talking about Bametz, remember Asher, Avo Ba'ani below Ruah, and you said this is mitzvah staka. We're talking about this amounts to giving charity, this form of chesed. Shesivza Torah b'kama Torah lehetiv lo. Torah has warned you in many places to help him out. To help him so he reaches his former standard of living. Shekola b'zeh gam kol enyonim. Shesorich ha'ani tash mishov af sheshem nisinahu lechaludin. Even if you give it to him permanently, like you give him money permanently, stucca. Here, when it's Chazan, you're only lending him for a temporary period of time. And then he returns it. And yet, this is an obligation. It's considered like charity. And even if this is it's more valuable than giving stucca. Because you don't have an obligation to give him permanently. You know, the depreciation is only very little. That depreciation is considered like giving charity. By lending something to him, after all, you're only going to give it back. You're borrowing it. That's why it says in Sukkah Daf Pei Mentes Amid Beis Gedolik Mias Chasadim and Tzedakah, as we mentioned over and over again, that tzedakah, that Gemilas Chasadim Lavin kind is greater than tzedakah. When you return the pledge, you have a special pasuk. Tzedakah Amrinan Vav Mesiah Pei Bez Amid Aleph Lefi Shemalva Al Hamashkan Kon Hamashkan. So when you lend based on the mashkan, at that point the collateral you acquire, the fichach nichor zeh b'shem tzedakah. Therefore, it's considered like tzedakah. After who rak lefi shah shemash b'balav. When the ani gives you collateral, you're giving it to him temporarily for that collateral. That's like giving tzedakah. Imkein a mitzvah lahashil kli l'chol adam lefi mashe katzam nebresham. See if yeh kol shoel kli pater me'onis, and we're talking about the chiyuvim shoel. Hamashil Nehene Mishum Pruta, the Rab Yosef, Haino, Atrami Lane, the Mesov, Riftla, Ani, Im Yizdamin Lo, Latate, Lechem Ani. Then call Hana Shel Shoel, the Haino, the Yia Chayav Onsin. Kain Masha Kosav Haran, Bechuva Simin Yuntes, the Indian Mashal Sefer Lechaver. When you lend a sefer, a book, to your friend, Lahuva Choshen Mishpot, then Choshen Mishpot. Sifkat and Chotet Yesh Lomer, the law mitzvah Gemara, who is not considered a great complete mitzvah, Kamol Mashal Sefer Chavero. And he's talking about how lending a sefer is a very important matter. So Milas Chesed. Omnam Ikasha Hakasha Bani Ashol Klil Michavero V'Nes Askalo Yapotor Dahav Ala Mitzvah Gemara Lahashilo Kamol Shebi Ader. Why should he be chayiv at all? This is a mitzvah. Well, other from Mishal, it's greater than just borrowing sefer l'chaver. Lo nimsa b'din sheyachalik b'shum makom bein asha ashol ani ashol. Ulam kan ad ayin hetev nimsa shalosh shach prizeh leomer shum mistaker o lemesa pruta elani. In this situation, he's not gaining a penny. Ta'amai tamahu potter mishum dehu oslik atam b'mitzvah hashela l'chim mishdaka. Because it's not just like a regular borrow and lending. We're talking about pure charity. He's not gaining no profit at all. Ulam gam divrei aran ksat shem dehamru b'gemara, as it says in Ksubas Gimel on Beis, my dichsiv in Tehillim Kufyud Beis Gimel v'tidkaso amedes la'ad zeh kosis shvarim. Those who write Svarim and Mashilim Lachirim and lend it to others. In Kain Hari Zehu Gam Kain Mishum Staka, it's considered charity. He's not gaining any money and earning anything. The Hasam, the Emes Lav Staka, we know that that's not really Staka, the Ainz B'chlal, because by giving a book, you're not bringing him back to his standard of living. Barak Mitzvah, it's just a commandment, to help your friend learn Torah. Mifter l'meisa pruta ani mishum d'havi osik mitzvah poter mitzvah. Kain shak b'zeh lomer shehu mistaker b'zeh masha ein kain b'zeh du chal dai mechasro takshiv kamot stakal ani. By giving a sefer, he doesn't have to give the other form of charity osik mitzvah poter mitzvah she poter militein staka. V'afal pikein adayin kosher ksat divrei aran the hamasui shah sefer nefach lemat al yidei tashmisho, that the by using it, you use the sefer, it's worn out, it becomes devaluated, depreciated. That depreciation is considered staka. And let's go page. Betumim kosas moshesh shehirbu lahakshos al divrei ram ayin ben sivasham. And we did all the footnotes. We were able to accomplish everything within the time limit. And I want to wish everyone a good Shabbos. Chaim Tovim.